Howdy doody, we're back with our YouTube channel, and this time we're going to start from scratch with Vale's gorgeous Superjet carbs. Believe it or not, these actually run. They just look like doo-doo. So what we're going to do, for precautionary steps and for learning purposes, we're going to show you how to break into them and how to rebuild these and rebuild them properly. Val is not allowed to, of course. So we're going to start off by snipping off our zip ties on the line because we are going to put them in the parts washer. And this time we're using an ultrasonic because they're not terribly gone. Sometimes when they're very salty, you want to go with the acid. But here we have a mix of degreaser and distilled water inside an ultrasonic. This is the same exact carb, but a different boat. This is from a blaster. As you can see here, the other side of that carb is going to go in there later. Little cafecito. Same exact carb. This is what it'll look like before it goes into the parts washer. Well, got to take these jets off, but basically ready to go in the parts washer. So here, we're going to start snip that off. So in continuation, we will remove now our hoses. Just one on this setup right now. Linkage hose there. Save that guy. And it's very important that you either impact every Phillips on here off. If you don't have a way to impact it, in this case we're using a drill with a proper size bit so you don't strip them. Very easy to strip these guys. Either use a drill, impact drill, or an impact hammer is ideal. We're going to start with the diaphragm side. Ha! Perfect. Exactly what we're talking about. We're going to have to use the impact drill. Alrighty then, so as we jinxed ourselves, speaking of stripped screws, we are going to show you how to deal with that now. First off, you need a nice hammer. We're going to hammer them to bevel them in. Show it. Kind of mushed in. Next, get yourself an impact hammer, impact driver, sorry. One of the greatest tools you'll own if you're dealing with carburetors. Put that guy there. A little smack. Yeah, there it went. Quite smooth. To avoid this, which I didn't do, another good step would be to hammer them before you even attempt. So here we're going to go and show you the difference between hammering it before, and clearly I didn't hammer that one, so we stripped it. This actually helps break the salt. Now that we've hammered them, show the screw again please so you can see the beveled head. I was mushed in. Now we're going to come with our drill. Nice pressure. Voila! And we'll take that precautious step on all of them now so we don't strip any. That impact breaks loose the salt. That's the idea. Voila. Okay. So here, another instructional point on our diaphragms. If your carbs are not receiving fuel on your setup, more than likely the issue is going to be here on the diaphragm side. This is basically a lung. With the salt buildup, they'll break loose their seal. They won't create a nice seal here, therefore it won't create the lung type function, diaphragm function that it should have. Underneath that, you'll find your jets. So here we have these two Phillips that you want to impact off as well. These we cannot hammer. So these normally are not that bad. We break loose the smaller Phillips head. Just break loose, don't take it off. And to remove this, you pull this pin out a little bit. That gets that guy out, a little sloppy. But here you are, those guys, down, come in, remove the needle seat. There you go. Throw that there. Get our Phillips out of here. Yeah. Get these two Phillips that are conical. And we got this guy out of here. Looks nice and crispy. Surprisingly, this engine actually ran like this. You can see this here. This is your ethanol buildup. Thank you, America, for our shitty fuel. That's what we get here. Nice buildup of ethanol. Step, remove the smaller jet and the larger jet. You need a special screwdriver like this little guy right here. Special little flathead, because not many flatheads will fit in there. Very important to use the right size one, as you will strip that brass jet. Here you have it, small little jet there. This did come off a factory setup, so needles should be factory settings. We're going to use a larger flathead for the larger jet. They are different sizes. Obviously, you want to use the right one so you don't strip it. The material is very soft. Oh, yeah. Tight. Never been removed. Alright, so that's that. Now, we're done with this side. We're going to flip. Go to this side. This is your pump side. This is what creates where you get the pulsation from your crank to create the suction that brings in your fuel into your carb assembly. We're going to start with the same procedure. You want to hammer each one to help break loose the salt. These are longer bolts that are going through different sections of the pump. So therefore, the salt buildup in here makes them even harder to remove than the other side. Couple solid hits. Make sure you're laying flat on a table. Crispy. Oh yeah, just like a mama make it. And here comes our pump section. Yummy. Now that's some good stuff. You just want to grab that salt. So here we have our pump assembly, which consists of a few O-rings, separating sheets here that you'll find in your Mikuni sets. If you're utilizing Mikuni original kit, aftermarket stuff is good too. You could see you want to remember all these positions. Good to do videos like this one here so you remember where everything went. This is all trash, but we're just going to set it aside. Remove all O-rings because these are going into an acid bath since they are a little rougher than expected. Normally I'd go in ultrasonic, but these are pretty rough. You can cut it. And finally, once we got the pump section off, we're going to remove your little filter here. Small screen that does come with your carb kits as well. That finalizes all the interior components that need to come out. From factory, you'll find the high and low needle capped like this here. Bye-bye. Don't need that guy anymore. Here, normally, if you don't know your settings before you actually pull it, you want to check how many spins it has. And by doing that, you'll count the rotations as you go in. Is that a good shot there? Yeah. So here we're going to go. That's a half spin, half turn in. This is on the lower jet. And we got 1 full turn and a quarter. 1 1/4 turn on the bottom jet. You want to write those numbers down if you don't have the experience, so you don't forget and you have a basis to work upon when you go assemble. Nice and crispy. Very important to replace these washers. It's an aluminum washer. Normally here in South Florida, they're never good when you take them off. It's very important, as well as the O-ring. You want to replace that O-ring. That creates the seal of your jet. And finally here we have the upper needle for the highs. We're going to do the same thing. Go ahead and count the turns in. Half. 1. 1 and almost a quarter, not even a quarter. almost a quarter. Regardless, we're gonna adjust the pop-off pressure on these. So we'll probably add a little more fuel on the top end later. So we're not gonna do a breakdown on this per se right now because time is of the essence. Of course, we're always in a rush before finals. But as you know, it's all the same exact explanation from the other carb minus the pump assembly. So it's actually much more simple. And finally, we have a small explanation on the other side of the carb. This one is much more simple because it does not have a pump on it. So therefore, you only have this one cover on what would be the pump side. These bodies are technically the same exact body, but one of them utilizes a pump from factory, only one pump assembly on the carburetors. So we're not gonna. So thank you guys for tuning in for now with our breakdown of the carburetors. We'll be back soon with our assembly.